Overview of the Winnebago Travato. This is the water tank. If you need to fill and the hose does not have a connection, or the hose you're trying to fill with does not screw into the outside connection, there's a gravity fill here where you can just open this up and fill it. There's 21 gallons of water. This right here is a control panel that turns the awning out. There's a light here that says awning light. So you can see the awning light there. The awning does have an automatic wind sensor on it, so if it does get windy, you'll see that it will automatically retract. So if that happens, if it automatically retracts, you're probably experiencing some wind, which is a nice feature, but I wouldn't fully rely on it because you could have one strong gust that could come up before it hits the sensor and it could take the awning completely off. So I would suggest not using the awning if you are experiencing inclement weather. This is the coach battery on and off switch. So if you turn this off, nothing in the coach will work. You have to have this on for all the lights to work and for the batteries to charge. This cover is on here to avoid puppies and young children from inadvertently turning off the battery or deploying the awning, so it's important to keep that on. These lights here, this one is for an outside light that is right there. This light is for the overhead lights there, and the third one is for the cab lights right there. There's a light up here for the galley, and then you have your stove. Where to light this, I need 2 hands. You will push in the dial, turn it, ignite it, and then hold it while you're pushing it in for a second to make sure the propane stays lit. I have some seasonings here, a little fruit basket. The sink here, there are a couple tricks to the sink. Sometimes this comes a little loose when you're driving, but the hot water points up. I don't have the pump on right now. Let me take the pump. The hot water points up and the cold water is down. You want to make sure before you stow it that this button or this lever is not left on the hot water, because you can see when you close it, it will turn on and drain the whole freshwater tank and fill up your gray tank. Ask me how I know. Anyways, that's the sink. These outlets will only work if the generator's on or you're plugged into shore power. This outlet here is for the overhead light there and the back lights, and then this is your bathroom light here. Moving into the bathroom, you have a fan up here that turns on. And then the sink and shower combo. There is a diverter here that switches it from shower pointing up, the sink pointing down. If you have the hot water on, you push this button and turn it, and it will automatically mix the hot and cold water for you, so you don't have 2 switches or 2 separate controls. You just basically set it at the temperature you want, and then you turn it on and it will automatically mix the hot and cold for you and give you the temperature you are looking for. The shower drain must be turned on here, and you'll hear it gurgling. Just note that the shower drains very slowly, so just don't be alarmed if you see a little bit of water backing up. It will drain. It just takes a little while. There is extra toilet paper in here. These are for your black tank. I have one in there already, but if you dump it, you need to put another one of these in there. There are linens up here as well. So there are 4 towels in here. They're really nice, lightweight Turkish towels. This is the shower curtain that snaps into these rivets, these little snaps here, and that keeps everything in the back from getting wet. The Murphy bed here is held by this little seat belt. Action. So that's the bed, window. There is a roller shade there, and that window side's open and closed. To bring it up, you'll want to pull it up like that so it folds up nicely. There we go. Sorry, my one-handed video. These lights here, on, off, and then there's a blue light function there. These are great for reading late at night. There's a couple extra hooks up there. There's some underbed storage here. These are just really hard to get into if you have a lot of stuff back here. So there's an extra roll of paper towels in here. Underneath here, these are levelers. You really want to make sure that the van is level at all times. So there's 2 different kinds of levelers underneath there that I can walk you through. And then back here there will be a jack and a little air compressor. For the tire, it's kind of like a fix and flat. There's the jack. There's some more levelers. It's kind of like a fix a flat thing where in the compressor it'll spew some gunk into the tire if you get. There we go. This is the compressor. This is somebody else's something. I don't know what that is. Underneath this flap is the breaker box. So if you find that things are not charging, you might want to reset the converter, the refrigerator. This one, the AC one, I do have to reset a lot. So if you turn the generator on and the AC doesn't work, you'll want to reset that breaker. And then water heater, microwave, and then the main. So sometimes they'll trip, but they won't actually be in the middle position. Something just won't work, and sometimes you'll just want to give it a reset. Fuse box is under here, which I don't have any nails left anymore, so I can't get this open. But if you need to replace a fuse, which I have never had to do, in this drawer I do have some extra fuses right there, as well as some duct tape and headlight and miscellaneous repair items. There is overhead storage. There's a fan here that has a 12-volt plug-in that I usually plug in back here if I'm going to use it at night, and I attach it here. But that's a nice way to give you a little airflow. And then my kids made me put these on. So these just turn on, well, somehow they turn on, unless the batteries are dead. I will check that. before, but that just puts little lights, color lights around the rig. Extra storage. The microwave only works if the generator's on or you're plugged into shore power. The fridge operation. There is a little cheat sheet here, but right now I have it plugged in, so it's on the little plug-in. This is for battery. I recommend when you're driving, you can put it on battery. And then once you stop, if you're not plugging in, the propane is the most efficient way to use the fridge. So, let's see. To start this, it's on propane here, and then I prime it here by pushing the button, and then you push this in and push the igniter until the little orange floaty thing goes into the green, and then you know that you are on propane. So when the little floaty thing goes into the green, so you just hold this down, press the igniter until that goes into green, and now you are running on propane, which is really efficient and kind of lasts forever. But when I'm driving, I switch it to battery, and when I'm plugged in, I have it on the plug. The fridge, the freezer up here, this is where all the coldness kind of begins, so I recommend you do not jam pack this fridge. I wouldn't even, I use the freezer, sorry, I said fridge, but I meant freezer. I use the fridge or the freezer minimally, because that's where the majority of the cold air comes, and then it kind of floats down. So things that you need to keep the coldest, I would keep up top, maybe drinks and stuff at the bottom. It's a hot box you're driving in, so these fridges, I would recommend opening and closing minimally, and keeping anything you need colder up top, and don't overpack it. I kind of just put a day or two worth of food in there at a time. Microwave is self-explanatory. As I said, it only runs on generator or if you're plugged in. There's extra storage up here. I have some little bags here, little trash bags that go right up here, and I do this to keep my dog out of the trash that is down here. So if there's stuff I think the dog's gonna get into, I just use one of those little grocery bags and put the trash up there. This is a dish drying towel, and then under here is kind of like the pot and pan storage, and there's a collapsible kettle here, there's a little egg pan here, there's some little pots there, and underneath at the bottom there's a dish drying rack if you need it, but I don't usually use that. I usually just dry them on here, so you put them away right away. Okay, the one place, this is where you turn your water pump on and off. I just turned it off. I recommend leaving it off all the time unless you're using it. So my kids have learned, they come and turn the water pump on when they are ready to use the bathroom, and then when they're done, they come and turn it off again. You can check your tank levels here. The fresh water right now is full. Your gray is empty. There's really only one gray tank. So if you press it again, you can see your black tank is empty as well. And then your propane, it says 3/4 full. I did go yesterday to fill it up, but it doesn't like to go above 3/4. The LP, the propane is notoriously, the gauges on these vehicles are notoriously wrong. So I think with a 4-day rental, I don't think you'll go through all the propane if you're not running the heat full blast nonstop and having the fridge on propane, but even then it might be tough. So battery level, this shows you your battery levels. I recently upgraded to lithium ion batteries, so it doesn't bother those batteries if you drain them fully. So if things are not working and this thing is off, you'll want to start the car to get it turned back on, and then you can start the generator if you'd like. It just takes one push to start the generator. You just press that button and you give it a few minutes. It takes a second to get started, but eventually you'll hear it click, and then you'll hear the generator turn on. I keep the microwave unplugged, so if you are turning the generator on to use the microwave, you'll want to plug that in right there. But air conditioning, if you're going to run the air conditioning, I would recommend running the generator for a couple of minutes for it to warm up before you come back and turn the air conditioner on. It really does take a few minutes, and when the microwave is plugged in, you'll hear the microwave beep on, and then you know that it'll be ready to turn the air conditioner on. But I'm gonna let it run a few minutes and then I'll show you how that works. The Jensen stereo here, you've got outside speakers here that are C, and then there's inside speakers here that are A. So there's a little dongle here, this Firefly. If you plug this in, you should be able to search for the Firefly Bluetooth, and that's the easiest way to connect to that if you want to run the speakers outside, is to connect your Bluetooth there. Otherwise, you can plug in with an auxiliary cord there or work through the menu to connect with Bluetooth. The instructions for that are in this bag if you get confused. There is a USB fan here that will plug in under here if you need just a little air. This is a converter. So this is the only thing that runs while you're not plugged in. This outlet here will give you 2 USBs and then this 12 volt that you can charge things off of while while you don't have the generator on or you're not plugged in. So this is a 12 volt. Everything else has to run, won't work unless it's plugged in, unless you're on shore power. I will go ahead and, so there you go. Air conditioner. To stop the generator, all you do is push the stop button right there. This is the Truma. The Truma operates your heat as well as your hot water here. So to operate it, you just push the button. These icons here, the first one is for turning the heat on. The second one is for hot water. This is your power mix, and then this is your fan speed. So if you are going to turn the heat on, you will just press the button. Right now you can see it's off. You can turn it to whatever temperature you want. And it's set right now on gas. So right now, if you want to set it, you don't want it to go below 58 at night, you can just set it and forget it. Hot water, you go to the little temperature icon, hit enter, you can see it's off. You can turn it to eco, hot, or boost. Boost, I burned myself last time I had it on boost and took a shower, so I usually run it on eco. Right now it's going on because I have it plugged in on shore power, but that icon won't come on unless you're on shore power. So this will show you which power source you're going to draw from, and unless you're plugged in, you'll use gas. Otherwise, you can switch it to a mix of gas and electric for the first element and the second element, and then there's electric 1 and electric 2 for the 2 heating elements. Fan, you can put it on eco or high. I usually just leave it on eco, and then that's it. The back button takes you to the home screen, and you can see right now that you've got the heat on and you've got the hot water on, and you're running on gas, and then the fan will start running. I am going to turn these off. Oops. So I need to go back there, turn it off. And then hot water, turn it off, and that's that. You can set the time and you can program it to heat to come on at a certain time in the morning, but I never do that. So LP on or off, this is your propane. It's a kill switch for the propane. So if you're trying to use the stove and you find that it starts for a minute and then it turns off, double check this, because sometimes this gets turned off and back on. This is just your solar status. This shows you that I'm charging right now through solar at 13.2 volts. you'll see when the battery goes low too, you'll end up down here. And then this is your power control system. That'll just show you how much power you're drawing if you are plugged in, which I am right now. So you can see that there are some lights on and a fan, so I'm right now drawing 1 amp. But this won't be on at all unless you're plugged into shore power. Holding tank heaters, you'll only need that if it's snowing out or if it drops below freezing, which we shouldn't need this time of year. And then you've got the dinette that will flip down into a bed. In order to do that, let's see if I can show you all of this. First, you will need to push this button and drop the leg down, and then it flips down like this, and usually you have to get this cushion out of the way first. So that goes down like this, and then you slide the 2 cushions off, and then this one gets pushed forward like this, and then this cushion right here gets put down like this. And so yeah, then these 2 cushions make that part of the bed, and then you've got this part of the bed, and then we have one more cushion that goes here if we're going to convert this to a whole bed. So we'll take that apart. There's that. So that's the interior. There's shades up here for the windows. There's a magnet one here that goes to the sliding door. And then there are manuals for everything in here. Some light bedtime reading. And that is that. While I'm driving, if I'm up in the mountains, I do recommend pushing the tow haul button. This is your electronic stability control that you can turn on or off. This is your hazards, and then this locks all of the, I don't have the key on, but this will lock all of your doors while you're inside there. I think that is it for the interior.